Hi class, it's Miss Cline-Douthitt. I wanted to give you today some tips on your informative essays so you would get some assistance in beginning to write those. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about that in this video. The purpose of an informative essay is to provide unbiased and mostly unopinionated information about a particular topic. What I'm asking you to do in this paper, which hopefully you are all aware of now, is to select an activist and to do an informational essay on that activist. We see examples of informatory writing every day. A lot of newspaper articles, or most newspaper articles, I should say, are examples of informative writing. A lot of what you see on television news is informative. Now, sometimes in certain news stations that becomes more persuasive or argumentative than informative. That's another topic for another day. And then also a lot of what you read in an encyclopedia, for an example, would be an example of an informative type of writing. For this essay, and this is highlighted in the paper project guidelines that hopefully you have reviewed by now a few times that are on Blackboard, but you should include an introductory paragraph with some type of introduction strategy, a quote, a story, a fact, something that engages your reader. And then the last sentence of that first paragraph, you should have your thesis statement. Your paper should also be organized into paragraphs. I believe I said each paragraph should be 4 to 6 sentences in length. You should incorporate one source. Now, for my 101 students, I do know that you probably don't have as much experience incorporating sources into your essays. We will keep building with that later in this course, but I just want to see the attempt that you have tried to find one credible source, and we're going to talk more about that next week. In our video about what is a credible source versus a non-credible source. You also should have a creative ending, a creative title, and then you should answer all of the questions about your activist that I had asked in the essay prompt. As I said on the previous slide, your source must be credible. We'll talk more about what that means next week. And it also needs to be cited in text, in the text of your paper. And then also for the final draft, a works cited page. You need to have a works cited page with that source information. You're not required to have that for the first draft, but you must for the final draft, and it must be an MLA format. Some of you might be more familiar with APA format. We will talk about APA format in this class, and we'll do some exercises with that, but it must be an MLA format. The first draft of the essay, as I said in the assignment, is due to me January 30th. That is due by midnight. As an attachment, it must be done in Microsoft Word. I must have something in Word that I can provide you feedback on. So if you don't have Word, you can easily download OpenOffice for free. I believe you can get a month trial of that, but I must have it in Word. We're not going to do the peer review anymore for this first paper. We will hopefully do that later in the semester. Peer reviews sometimes are a little bit problematic in an online class to coordinate your schedules with someone else to do that. So we'll talk more about that later, but it's due to me first draft January 30th, and then the final draft is due